Wait? I guess we should wait.
Yeah.
No, I also go back. It's great. Love seeing Sandra and Musetta. So, I know I'm better looking than Jackie Chan. No, he's gonna get really upset. I know Jackie Chan, but anyway.
He'll put it on Twitter.
Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should wait for Kory.
Yeah.
If you lose.
Okay. All right. So I don't know what I'm doing up here. Should I get Sandra down here and? Yes.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, come on, Sandra. You might as well. Sandra, Hess, everyone. Beautiful. She looks the same. Hasn't changed.
You're very kind.
Sindel. This evil. Really, seriously, because she is such a nice person. Boy, when you laugh, my goodness. I know. And Keith, my sorry, Kory.
Am I a special guest or?
Sorry.
But
We just invited Keith up, so
Oh no, yeah. Keith,
I figured we
you can
should get things started while they're waiting for you to
come. Keith, you can come.
finish. And,
Thank you for coming, Keith.
well,
They
thank you very
only
much.
put 3 chairs, even though they knew 5 guests were coming, and of course I do everything. So, once again, thank you guys. So the people who hadn't seen it, what did you think?
It was great.
It was awesome.
It was great. So the people who saw it 20 years ago, woo, like better now? I mean, it's always fun. You guys have like an amazing audience, and Robin knows that. It's my, I mean, gosh, we've done like 6 events together now, 5 or 6.
4, 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. He buys me beer now, so that's all the validation I need.
He camped out at my house.
Okay, yeah. So, you guys, this was the 20th anniversary. I know Sandra hadn't seen the film in years. Musetta, how long has it been for you?
20?
I think pretty much right after she finished her film, and she said, I'm not going to watch this.
What about you, Keith? When was the last time you?
Yeah, probably about the same.
Oh, 20 years, wow. Okay, well, the first question I gotta start off with, once again, I'm Kory at MovieDude18. I want to give a shout out really quick to Justin. He runs Mortal Kombat Online, which is the go-to. They run the Combat Con in Chicago. He flew in for this. He flew in for the last one. So kudos to him. And this Q&A and everything is coming out through Mortal Kombat Online and then the various outlets. So be careful who you talk about with this movie. So, but no, thank you guys all for being here. Sandra has a Twitter, so I was able. I mean, guys, if you want to do things like this or put things together, Sandra, I literally did. I just tweeted at you like 5 times one night at 3 in the morning, and it somehow caught your eye. So it's like Twitter works.
Yeah, but she emailed me to make sure that you're legit, though.
I did.
And what did you say?
Yeah, he's okay. He has Asperger's, so. So just get her sympathize with him. So she said, yes, I'm in.
It's a total card. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys. So Robin, you're the only one up here that was a part of the first film in '95. What was? I mean, obviously it was this huge. Even talking to Paul Anderson, it was a huge shocker hit. It was something that, you know, Street Fighter kind of bombed, Double Dragon kind of bombed. A lot of these video game movies weren't doing well, or they weren't very. They were just really bad. But it was good, and it was #1 at the box office 3 times in a row. when did like the word sequel start buzzing in your ear?
Oh, it was right after the first movie. It was pretty much
Like
right after, even
opening?
before we released it. It was pretty much. I think we had a really simple story on the first one, and I think the second story, the second movie was a little bit more complicated. So I think the first movie worked was because it was so simple. It was just 3 guys fighting for the fate of the world.
Well, they stuck with the 3 kind of Earthrealm characters,
Right.
like Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, and Kang, that were very mortal based. I've never understood why, Justin. It's called Mortal Kombat when everyone's got special powers. But no, the thing is when, okay, so you knew sequel was buzzing instantaneously.
Right after the test screening, yeah.
When did contracts or actual like, okay, we're doing a sequel, did you hear about, obviously Bryce Zabel was the co-writer and the scripts, yeah, we'll talk about that later, but when was it legitimately, okay, I'm signing on, this is what I'm doing.
It didn't work like that. I think what happened was Larry Kasanoff was just starting to cast.
As producer of Threshold.
Producer. And then he came to me and said, we're going to do a sequel. And I said, well, fantastic, let's put a crew together. And so we would start casting without even signing anything. We were just doing it. You know, so then we started putting, and actually part 2, Mortal 2 was a very ambitious film because we put together like a fight team. We had 10 guys. Keith was one of them, to make sure all the fight was satisfied to the fan. And then of course all the actors who came on board, they had to really pass the test. You know, I mean, Sandra came in to do a physical fighting test, an audition for fighting. Not so much the reading, but just fighting, just to make sure that she can handle the role. So it was a very ambitious film. And whatever you saw there, you know, everyone did the film with passion. Everyone gave it their all, regardless of, you know, how people felt about the movie. So then, so we just went ahead, sort of, that was our drive, that we have so much passion for the film. So I didn't care if I signed anything or contract or deal. I didn't have any deal. When I would start doing the choreography, working with actors.
None of you were under contract.
No,
or made
no.
to do a sequel.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, since you were once again the original and Sandra, I love Bridget Wilson, and I mean, who doesn't love Billy Madison? And like, I think that Bridget Wilson plays a very good character-driven Sonya in terms of development, with her kind of moody nature and stuff. But I feel like Sandra kicks a bit more ass.
Yeah.
Sandra gets more fight scenes in this movie than like Bridget did with just Kano, the late Trevor Goddard in the first film. But what is it, and I know we talked about it with Lyndon when Lyndon was here, but with Lyndon, Christopher Lambert, and Bridget Wilson, when the contracts were going on, do you remember why, or maybe even Sandra can weigh in, what exactly was the reason why they didn't return? Was it their choice, whose choice?
Well, they wanted a tougher Sonya, obviously, you know, and Sandra fit the bill. She was just perfect, you know, she was physically very inspiring, she's just very motivating. She just comes in and we test out and punch, and she hits really hard, really, seriously, and that's just an audition. And then she just kind of like always saying like, is that hard enough? Is that more? Or you want? Because she was really willing to really do her best. So then is that attitude? Because this will be I knew it was going to be a grueling shoot because it's very physical demanding. And just that, her attitude, I was like, yeah, this girl's it. You know, so.
Well, since we're on that, Sandra, what the practice test, I don't know this, what would you remember with your audition, like original audition? I mean, obviously you have to play a character, but you also have to kick ass. And at the same time, how did your audition process go? And also, have you met Bridget? What has she said about you taking over? I mean, I don't know how to say that, really. You know, some people, you hear that, like, I know for a fact, like, James Remar, you know, Christopher Lambert. To me, he's an iconic legend Highlander. So to replace him it's a lot of big shoes to fill. I think James Remar does the best job that he can in this film. But with that, how did you audition? And did you have Bridget's blessing, or did you talk to her before, or run into her at a premiere, or?
I remember that they had been casting for a while and I couldn't get in the door. They didn't want to see me at first, and I think it was only towards the end, and I think that at some point they were talking about getting Nicolette Sheridan for the part, and
Oh wow.
and then I remember I went in on this audition, and I've always kind of been a bit of a tomboy all my life, and I remember that in the audition room, it was the scene with Jax and with the arms, you know, where I say, you gotta get off the, what do I say? He's on the table, he's strapped in, and then Cyrex comes in.
What have you done to yourself this time?
Yes, thank you. Wow. He
Or
was like,
not sitting next to them, like my friend Crystal and everything. I know every single line of movement, even the musical tones, and I was just trying to confine myself the whole time.
No. And yeah, thank you. And I remember that I decided in the scene, in the audition, to kick in a door, well, to pretend to kick in a door. And I was able to lift my leg quite high when I kicked, and so the casting director was sitting there, and I just kind of threw in this kick, and I just kind of kicked. And I remember he just kind of sat there, and he looked at me, and he said, "Could you wait a moment?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he made a phone call, and I think he made a phone call to Larry Kasnoff, and then I had to wait, and then my heart started beating. It was like, I think that's a good sign. And then Larry Kasnoff came down, and then I did it again. And then I think I had to go back at least 3 more times or something. And the last audition was with you.
Right, it was a fighting thing.
It was in a studio or something.
Warehouse.
A warehouse.
Always in a
Always a
warehouse.
warehouse.
Always
Yeah.
a warehouse.
And yeah, and I had to, Robin would show me stuff and I had to copy it, and so they were just kind of trying to see how physical I was and how, you know, how I could take it. Like
I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've always believed that when a fight scene works, it's not so much how you throw the technique, it's more how you react to something. And I think I was testing with Sandra, see if she can react to like a punch, kick, duck, or some kind of reaction. Because it's easy to punch, you know, but to react and act with all that and be in character, that is hard. And she has it, you know, she has everything. So then I was thumb up and say, yeah, I think she is it. No, she's good. And that was the last time I saw her, you know, and then she got the part. So.
And then as far as Bridget Wilson goes, I never met her before. I ran into her in a hair salon long after we had done the movie, and
So girly.
yeah, it's so girly, right? And she was so gracious and so nice, and we chatted for about 5 minutes, and that was it. And she was nothing but nice.
Well, she did have the opportunity. My first film at the Chinese was I Know You Did last summer, which is also 20 years ago. And so it's not like she lost out. She did get to move on to something else, and I'm really glad you got to come in.
Well, you know, she married Pete Sampras. That's not so bad.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is it not working? No. Is it working?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. So moving on to Keith here. You guys, I did these, you know, those like bobblehead figures, like Pop Funko figures. I got to an event 3 weeks ago at Robin's brother-in-law's store where we were selling them, and Chris Casamassa, Scorpion in the first film, Robin and Keith were there, and I got to meet Keith, and he was very excited and very happy and gladly said yes to come tonight. But the thing is you've known Robin far before these movies, and maybe some people don't know, not only was he Sub-Zero in this film, but after a test screening, they actually added Reptile, the entire character, into the first movie after a test screening, and you played Reptile in the first film. But you and Robin kind of spit it back and forth for a second. Like, when did you guys meet, and then how did it lead into working into the first film as Reptile?
Don't date us. You're gonna date
It's a
us.
little late.
We go back a long way.
Is it 82?
Were you born then? So, yeah, it was early 80s. It was early 80s.
We met through our martial arts instructors, actually. Yeah, and we ended up training together a lot over the years. So we went to China together. Yeah.
We competed in China, remember?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Who won?
No, with the Chinese team.
Oh,
I mean, I'm Chinese, but then I was competing with the Chinese team. Yeah, there you go.
well, how did you land Reptile? Did he just, he can't use an Asperger card, so.
Actually,
you know.
when they wanted to do the reshoots for the first one, he just called me. He just called me.
No, because he.
Why didn't you call him in the first place?
Well, because first of all, like, if you guys just Google Keith Hirabayashi, I mean, he is like the 6-time all-world champion martial artist, so it's a little bit intimidating. But then I know him for so many years, and I go, why am I being intimidated? He's like a brother to me. So, you know, if anyone who I want to work with is someone that I know and I care for, and I know he's going to care about me, so we should do this, because if we're going to do an action scene together, there's back and forth. So I know him and he knows me. What better way? So I just pick the phone and say, Keith, want to do this? And then he was really excited because this is the first time we actually worked in movies together. So it's like two guys going to Disneyland. That's kind of gay, isn't it? But yeah, no. Sorry, but I know. But we're just having so much fun on set. I mean, I was so excited that he came on board. We just had so much fun.
It was right here in Van Nuys, in Van Nuys Airport, the hangar. They built a set, and it was like wasn't it 6 days or something?
It was 6 days. We had a 6-day shoot. Yeah.
Just for the Reptile fight?
For the Reptile fight. Yeah.
And that was actually your first bit in choreography. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, in choreographing the fight. So, I have to say, and Keith knows this, I think my favorite fight from the first movie, I mean, it's actually both movies, they're close second. To me, in the second movie, the Mud fight and the Scorpion Sub-Zero fight are the two best fights. And in the first movie, the Reptile and, of course, the Johnny Cage and Scorpion fight are the two best fights, which are actually reshoots. But, when you were brought back for Annihilation, you know, as Reptile, you're covered. You don't see your face. But this one, you do acting, you know, you come in. What was it like when they called in the sequel? Because as you can see, not a lot of people got the opportunity to come back. But you play Reptile and Sub-Zero. So when you came back, how did you get Sub-Zero's part? Did he call again?
Well, but I had to go to like 10 auditions.
Yeah, but it's
Can
all
you explain
fixed.
that, Robin?
Yeah, it's all fixed. You were in from day one. No, because like, how could you not use like Reptile? Seriously.
No, like he's the hidden gem of.
Right, exactly. I mean, he is so good. You know, how can you not use him? So that it's pretty much that day one. I say, no, Keith, man, he can act, he can fight, he good looking. You know, that sounds kind of gay, but but you know, like he's a really good candidate to play all this part, like Sub-Zero, even a stunt guy or anything. So how could I not get him? So.
Well, Keith. Speaking of the fight scene in Annihilation, I was asking you this a couple weeks ago, but you were actually fighting on salt on that. To me, it was a contraption that, you know, obviously you freeze and can make a bridge, and okay. But like, you make the bridge and you're fighting with J.J. Perry, right? Is that his name? Scorpion?
Yeah.
Okay, and I really, like, for example, by the way, you guys reacted really well to Lynn Red Williams. If he sees this, like, I love you, dude. Like, the audience went crazy the whole time, every time you joked. But this fight, how much wire work versus actual choreography, like, run me through how Robin trained you for this fight, and you're fighting on this moving block that's kind of snapping and moving, and just tell me, like, how many days did it shoot? Tell me the whole fight scene.
Well, first of all, one of the interesting things about that fight that I don't think anybody really knows is that I rehearsed the fight with Ray Park.
Oh, wow.
Do you guys know who Ray Park is?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Ray
Episode
Park.
1.
Ray Park, and by the way, both Ray Park and J.J. Perry are really good martial artists. You know, I know because I trained with both of them. You know, behind the scenes and also at my martial arts school. And so I know that they're both really good martial artists. And so that was great, and working with, because I think JJ was working on was it called Cyrex? Is
Right.
that other character?
Right.
He played another character, and he didn't have time to rehearse with me, so I rehearsed the whole scene with Ray, and Ray is great, and he's just like, he's great to work with.
He's 90% of that raptor fight, in case you couldn't see him.
No, Reptile.
No, Ray Park was also the double for James Remar.
And Reptile.
Which you can see him clearly.
Yes, you can see him.
You see, so that's why part 2, we have really good people on the show as far as the fight goes. Really, really good. So whatever you're seeing it's something happened. That's filmmaking.
So I've got a Musetta. Okay. I'm gonna see if you'll do this. You'll probably deny me, but
No, I know what you're
but
gonna
I'm gonna say a line, and then I want to see if you'll say a line with me after me. Okay?
Oh, no.
Mother, you're alive.
Too bad you will die.
Okay. So you and Sandra's hair is pretty ass kicking, but what you only have one fight scene, the final fight, which I think is brilliantly edited by Pat.
Come on, be honest.
Was the editor on this? Believe me, I wish the editor was here. But no, first of all, the makeup. How was it as horrendous to wear as it looked? Like, it's amazing, yes, but like very, I don't know, 16-year-old hot topic.
I guess the character of Sindel was already established, so it was automatic that she was going to be very extravagant.
She's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there were discussions about what Sindel was going to look like at some point, and
In the script, she has hair as long as like the ground.
well, that hair that wig was made for me, and I actually still have the half wig that you see at the end of the movie where the character changes back into like the purple dress and she's normal. I still have that wig, but 20 years later.
Wasn't it exciting after having to wear that purple, like whatever that is?
The spandex outfit.
That you actually got to wear a normal, nice dress.
There was a big discussion about whether the character, once she returns back to good, should change into a different outfit or whether she should stay as Sindel but be good. So that went back and forth. I don't know if you remember that, but there was a big thing going back and forth between the studio and whether Sindel should be in a completely different outfit or whether she should stay in the lycra jumpsuit thing. So.
Had you had any, and I don't know this, have you had any martial arts, or do you have a martial arts background prior to, obviously, the final fight between you and your daughter?
No, I was a ballet dancer. I was a dancer, so I had no martial arts training. I didn't join any of them for the training for the martial arts. I joined the movie later after they'd finished shooting in Wales. I joined them in London. So no, I didn't have any training. As a matter of fact, that scene we shot very shortly. There was some accident or something, and
Which scene?
the fight scene.
Okay.
So it stepped up in schedule quite quickly. And we just shot it like, by the way, you're shooting tomorrow morning or whenever that scene. So it wasn't like a big ramp up to the fight scene. I personally would have wanted like some real big kick-ass scene, just killing everybody, but no, it didn't happen.
And now, when you actually do the infamous, I have to say Sindel was in my top 10 characters. We have like 80 Mortal Kombat characters now, but the scream. Did you kind of softly scream, or were you completely silent?
No.
And where were you when you filmed that on the horse and everything? Was that a real place or a green screen, or?
Well, we shot that scene in Petra, Jordan, which if anybody's ever gone there, you'll know it's an incredible place. It's this hidden city in Jordan. It's absolutely special and spectacular.
And you had to travel the world.
Yeah.
And how many months was it? 6 months?
6 months. Yeah.
But in that particular moment when they asked me to do the scream, I just belted out the scream, but because of the actual location and the way the walls were built and the building was, the
the earth was surrounded, it echoed and reverberated naturally through it to the point that when I stopped, I was like, what just happened? Like it was like so powerful, the echo from just me screaming. Not that my voice was that strong, but the ambiance or the whatever you call it around in that amphitheater was amazing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, they obviously put an effect on my voice, but it was an amazing feeling to be there.
Sandra, what is probably your favorite memory and your favorite fight scene from filming this movie?
Favorite fight scene is definitely not the mud fight.
Which was also the very first fight that they filmed.
That was brutal. Really cold, really freezing cold. Favorite fight scene, I think it's the one with Cyrax in the lab. That was fun because I was wired and I got to do the handstand on his shoulders and pull him around, and that was really fun. And
you got to do the fatality, which it's not. The movies were downgraded to PG-13 from an R-rated game, but you got to do the kiss of death. That's
did.
pretty iconic.
That was pretty fun.
What was I don't know if Musetta or Kooke got much time with Lynn, but Lynn Williams, I think obviously tonight he got a great reaction. I think his jokes are still funny 20 years later as humor. But how was he on set? Was he he was an American Gladiator if I'm correct, right? He was an American Gladiator.
Right.
How was he? I mean, you Sonya spent the most time with.
He was great. He was so much fun because I don't think he actually had any acting experience before, right? But he just kind of played himself, to be honest. He was sort of like that every day, and he brought that to the film, and he brought himself, and I think that really worked. It made it, and I think that's why he's so funny, because he brought himself.
Yeah, he was fun. And now I mentioned earlier that Robin, when they did the reshoots on the Johnny Cage fight with Scorpion and Keith and Robin in the first film, Robin choreographed every fight scene in Annihilation. Which, if I would have known that actually like about a month ago, I would have even more high praise for you. But I mean, how did that work when you're the lead actor of this film? You're shooting these scenes of dialogue. You're shooting these scenes. I mean, you're choreographing and acting. And how did that mix?
Well, like I said, this was a very ambitious film. Before we started shooting, I would do all the storyboard with the storyboard artists, and we had over 1,000 storyboard. I mean, the fight was very detailed. Everybody had their special move. Everybody had their characters. Everybody. And I think why I did that was because we knew it was going to be a very sort of tight schedule for me. So then, so I would have the storyboard, and then so the second unit will at least follow those storyboards. But the thing is that, my choreography, I'm sure you guys know that I sort of got my start in Hong Kong, so it's a little bit
I thought you started in Idaho.
Okay, that's pretty close. Only 2 hours away. So, but so then, and I believe, again, with fights, it needs to be rhythmic. So then, and that's why I think sometimes it kind of stalled a little bit in the film because they didn't know how to by the storyboard because you can't really tell. So then a lot of time I was not there for the fight. So I wish I had been, just because scheduling. It was really hard, you're right. Like choreographing and also acting and doing all these other stuff.
Did you ever storyboard? A lot of people who get the script, originally the Raptor fight was not in the script, not even in the production draft. There was a fight with Shiva, and there was no date, there wasn't over. There was originally, instead of the Raptor fight, a fight with Liu Kang and Raiden fighting Shiva. And I know that you know about that, but did it reach storyboards?
Oh yeah, no, we had fight for Shiva. We had fight for Shiva. We have fight for Mutaro. We had, so the little fight that you saw with Shiva, no, it was blocked out. Yeah, exactly. I think we ran out of time or something happened with productions. They had to cut that short, so it's just filmmaking.
And you had told me an interesting story about how and I paid attention now that I knew the story. 80%, 90% of the Baraka fight is actually who?
Oh, you guys know Tony Jaa? You know who Tony Jaa is?
Yeah.
Black and detective. Well, we were shooting in Thailand, and in the very beginning of the film, like when all the outworld people sort of invaded Earth, and there was this guy doing backflip, continuous backflip. That was Tony Jaa. So then I said, who is that guy flipping on solid ground? And I want to know this guy. And then that was Tony Jaa, and then I just kind of kept him in mind for everything, you know. So then on the Baraka fight, I couldn't be there, sadly. I couldn't be there because I was shooting the scene with Jay.
Just the close-ups of your hair.
Yeah, exactly. So Tony and they said, well, we need to find your stunt double. I said, well, get Tony. And Tony's a lot smaller than I am, but he was so good again, you know, because I kind of knew people couldn't tell, you know, because, you know, they're fighting, the person is moving. So then I wanted Tony to do all the stuff because he is, I mean, right away, you know, this guy is going to be a star. So,
If I'm not wrong, he doubled me in the mud fight, didn't he?
No, that was Jack.
Oh, that was.
That was, yeah. Jack's Chinese and Tony's Thai.
Sandra, clarify actually how much is you actually fighting? Would you, if you had to give it a percentage of the mud fight?
Oh, she did a lot. I mean, she did
I
a lot.
heard you were kind of intense with her, like.
Well, yeah, I was really, because I know she
He was
wants
tough.
it. Yes, I know she wants it really bad, and I love that kind of attitude from a person. She wants it really bad, and of course, in that way, I want to help her as much as I can. And it's the old sensei talking, like, you know, you're not supposed to be nice to your students. So I wasn't really nice to her. You know, so everything she said, was it okay? I said, it's all right. But you know, but then just kind of, I want to motivate her to do even better. So for the mic fight, now, I personally feel she had all the best fight. You know, because I think it's so rhythmic.
I think that's fair.
It's so rhythmic, and also her fight was pretty much the second thing up in the very beginning of the movie. So everybody was fresh and just kind of got excited and just kind of go and did it. And so, but for the mic fight, it was like, I don't know, 30 some degrees. It was really cold and wet, and then she just kind of went.
Was it real mud?
It was.
Oh,
it was,
yeah.
Oh no, it was real.
Salt for the ice, and by the way, it's the fakest snow I've ever seen in the J's. And you should have heard them cracking up themselves at it. But was it real mud?
Oh yeah, it was
Oh.
real mud. We were in Wales, and it was. I mean, look, I'm from Switzerland, and I'm used to cold, but that was just ungodly. And our teeth were chattering, and whenever they would say rolling, you know, we would get it together, but we could barely move really because our joints were so stiff. It was so cold, and Robin had this jacket on.
Just had the chair.
He had this jacket on.
I had the
espresso
perfect-
machine.
With like a hoodie with fur, and he looked so nice and
But I was
warm.
feeling for you. Poor Sandra. I wish I could give you my jacket, but I can't.
And then,
It's hard to take off.
and then to make it worse, they would come in between each take, and they would literally just spray us down with water, just to make it even worse.
Was it
Just
lukewarm?
no, it was not.
No, it was awful. She
It
went
was
through a lot.
awful.
She went through a lot. She was tough. She was really show her personality. You know, the tough person she is. You know, she just kind of like power everything through, and then without hesitation, she just, oh, Sandra, we want you. Okay, you know. So,
I think he was swearing a lot. I think he's being nice.
Keith, I have a couple last questions about production, but with Keith, we did have Chris Casamassa, who I said he played Scorpion in the first film, and I've been friends with him on Facebook right now, and he seems to definitely own the Mortal Kombat thing. That he's very proud of it, as he should be. But when I saw you get the action figure signing, it kind of almost felt like it was like falling in love with Mortal Kombat for the first time again, or I don't know, there seemed to be a spark of rejuvenation with Mortal Kombat. So in the last 23 years, where with your studio, with your kids, the talk a little bit about that, where does Mortal Kombat rank for you? Are you just now getting your feet back into it and reminiscing, or has it always been kind of with you like Robin?
Well, if you walk into our martial arts studio. The first thing is a big Mortal Kombat poster.
So you've been around.
And it's kind of cool because it was one that I think you gave to me like right after the filming or something, or it was right when they first came out. And I kept it, and when I first put it up in the studio, there was no frame. And so it got all beat up and battered, and it was all torn around the edges.
People would spit at it.
It's really funny, is I didn't get to meet Kory Tagawa, because we didn't work at the same time on the first one. And then one day he was walking by my studio and he saw what did I tell you?
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, he walked by and he saw the poster, so he came inside and he said, "Where did you get that poster?" And I told him, "I worked on the film," and he goes, "Oh, I did too." I said, "I know." And, it was really cool, and it was really nice because I was out with my wife, who's right out there, and
She's amazingly
our girls.
supportive of this, by the way. So is Robin's wife.
Anyway, we went to New York and we hung out with, I kind of got to know Kory that time that he came by, and he's a really funny guy. He's really fun to hang out with, and we got to hang out in New York at the Urban Action Showcase. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No.
Anyway, it was a lot of fun hanging out with him. And yeah, I think what it is that Robin and I are such good friends that, you know, we with our families and everything, we kind of, you know, haven't stayed because we, you know, I mean, how far away do we live from each other? Maybe
35, 40
miles.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and but yet lately we haven't seen each other much, and we used to see each other almost daily. I mean, because we trained together, and so we would see each other a lot. And over the last 15 years or so,
Right.
we really, you know, just getting into family and stuff, we really don't. So this was kind of like you're right, it was like a reawakening.
I could tell you were very like, whoa, and like you saw the fan base. I think even Paul Anderson, that night we did the first Mortal Kombat 2 years ago, he was taken aback at like, this thing's still kicking, you know.
And Chris Casamassa and all of us go way back too, and we have the same, you know, a guy that coached me, who I think I introduced you to, a guy named Master Steve Fisher, who, when I moved down from Seattle to Los Angeles, I needed some place where I could spar, and he has a great studio, like, you know, if you want people to try to take your head off, it's a great place to go.
Englewood, Compton.
You definitely get that. You get a dose of reality. And so Chris trained there, I trained there, and Robin trained there. And so it's just really cool to be together again 3 weeks ago.
You guys are family.
Yeah.
I've noticed that with everyone, you know, I can't say the same for the Power Rangers, but I can say the same for Mortal Kombat. That Robin, I mean, he spoke, when I wanted to do Annihilation, he spoke so highly of even like Sandra back in April when I was like, you gotta do Annihilation. I told you I could do this well. And, you know, he vouched for me and she was excited, and it's like, I don't know, it's a cool little unit that you guys have. And
Well, I think it's our sort of first big movie, and we're all excited and motivated. We just want to give it our best. Again, you know, whatever the outcome is for the film, doesn't matter, you know, because I think we made a really special bond, all of us, you know. I mean, we see each other after the film. After filming, we would see each other sporadically.
You guys told me that like a lot of filmmakers do this. You and Sandra went opening night and we like theater hopped and saw a bunch of, you know.
No, because we were really excited about the film, seriously. You know, we put our heart and soul into it. Again, whatever the outcome was, you know, we had a great time. We had a great experience. We made a bunch of really good friends on our film. So, and we just sort of, we take away from that. I mean, just, that's what we took away from the film.
I mean, and that shows, and I say that speaking for Lyndon on the first film and Chris on the first film, at least the people that you talked about, it seems like a great family. But before I turn it over to the audience, there have been, I can't tell you how many Facebook questions and Twitter tweets and whatever you call Instagram things you get about, obviously, to put it nicely, the movie didn't go over as well as everyone hoped. And there was a lot of, obviously, the cast changes and production things. But you've mentioned things like production was tight, the budget was this. You know, the first movie was #1 3 weeks, made hundreds of millions of dollars, biggest VHS which is like a big version of like a cassette tape. And you know, yeah, like, but you know, like the first thing I had Robin autograph was my Mortal Kombat VHS, not my Blu-ray. No, but like you said, and having read the script, and when you read the script, and when we do the signing, if anyone wants to come up to me, friend me on Facebook, and I'll figure out a way that I can send you the script via that way so you can read it. But there's a lot of stuff in the script, and so the first question I have about production is, was there anything that you filmed? You know, these movies have bare bones Blu-rays. There's no featurettes, there's no interviews, there's no deleted scenes. Was there anything in your guys' recollection that you filmed that was made that could be lost somewhere that maybe I can try to find in a factory or a warehouse? Any scenes? Not just a line of dialogue, but a full-blown scene or something.
I can't remember.
No?
I think we used everything.
So, with the production type and this budget being so pulled, where do you think things kind of slipped in terms of character development and story? I mean, you guys did your job as choreographers and actors. That's all you can do, and you guys kicked ass.
I think it was just too ambitious.
They shot there too high.
It's just that the expectation was so high that
Was there a lot of pressure?
the studio wanted to give a lot to the fans, and I think they overdid it. You know, so and then they found themselves, oh shoot, we don't have time to shoot all this stuff. So I think that's what it was. You know, so the intention was really good. The intention was good.
Now that it's been 20 years later, and this is the last question I have before we turn to the audience. Sandra, you hadn't seen the film in a while, you hadn't seen the film in a while. And Keith, what ultimately, looking back in your career, you've all gone on to do many things, whether it was teaching students, which is part of my life now next year, teaching kids. But where does Mortal Kombat and Annihilation, I mean, I know for you, but for Sandra and Musetta and Keith, Musetta, you first, like where, and you have a long list, where does this film rank for you?
As my opinion as to my experience on the film?
Memories in terms, is it really high up there? Is like one of your favorite memories?
Oh yes, most certainly, because we're still friends to this day, which is invaluable.
Yeah, you and Sandra. By the way, Sandra, really quick. Sandra, I got a hold of her. She's like, I'm bringing Musetta. So I was like, wow, like, once again, the family thing. But yeah. No.
Yeah, I think that's invaluable because when you travel and you go on location and you work on a film for such an extended period of time, you really get to know people really well and they become like family to you, especially when, for me, I come from a foreign country and I think I can speak for all of us. Over here are all foreigners. Yeah. So this was our family.
Where are you from, Keith? Where are you from?
Seattle, that's
That's a foreign country.
Sandra, what about you?
Where I'm from?
No. No, I mean, you have a very impressive list of work. So, where, I mean, you hadn't seen this in a while, but you've done so much TV too, but like, where does this film, like Robin said, your early film, you know?
I think it was my first big job. I was really green when I got Mortal Kombat, and you know, the excitement of doing a movie was just so overwhelming, and I was giddy. It was such an amazing thing, and 6 months all around the world, and Thailand and Jordan and England, and it opened, you know, even though what we said, the film was not what, you know, we thought it could be, but it opened a lot of doors, I think, for all of us. And so it's something that I always look back on very, very fondly. And the friendships and the memories and everything, you know, just watching the movie, there's so many things that like, oh, do you remember that?
And the audience always has a good time. I mean, when you have a reaction like that, you know, 20 years later.
You know, the kiss with me and Talisa Soto at the end.
Which was originally in the first film, but Paul Anderson said no makeout session.
Well, to tell you the truth, it's like kissing your sister. It's
Talk about
gross.
some of these things.
It was gross, and then we gross. That's Talisa Soto. I was like, no, it's disgusting. That's Talisa Soto. Because I mean, she's like my sister. Like we hung out, like every one of us. We hung out, so I know them so well. And then so you hang out with her. Look at, they're beautiful.
And really quick, I want to point out, these are practical sets. I turned to you a couple times in the movie and I said, that's not, I mean, in the beginning you can tell that's green screen. That's green screen. But you could, like, these sets are, I mean, you're really in Thailand and Jordan and all these things. And movies don't do that anymore. It's like, we're going to shoot an epic movie about gladiators, but we're going to do it in green screen. And it doesn't make sense to me. But does anyone out there have a question? Yep, you in the red. I'm going to repeat the question.
I do have a question for Robin and Sutu.
Okay.
Just watching Beverly Hills Ninja, did you think about Chris Farley was passing, or what was like working with him?
Oh, Chris Farley, he's like one of the most talented comedic actor. Well, he's the only comedic actor that I work with, but he is just so talented and spontaneous. He doesn't go with the script. Dennis Dugan was the director, and he just kind of let him go. You know, so it was kind of strange for me because everything that I did was scripted. You know, like we follow instruction. But with Chris, you just kind of like let him go, and I go, I've never seen anyone like that. So when I found out that he passed away, I was of course heartbroken because we talked about hanging out after the film, and then he went and did.
You mentioned a sequel.
Yeah, well, we had a sequel deal for Beverly Hills Ninja 2, so I was really excited. Producer sent me a bathrobe, like a karate gi, said Beverly Hills Ninja 2, and so I was really excited just to work with Chris. You know, so when I heard he passed away, I was really heartbroken because we talked about hanging out together because everything you saw in the film, all the moves, all the martial arts, all the knife, all the double sword, the 3-sectional staff, the whip chain, he did it himself. He actually trained 3 months with an instructor in Chicago. And he loves it so much. And then he talked about getting together after the film and work out together. And because, again, with scheduling and all that stuff, it didn't happen. So I was kind of like, darn, I wish I would have reached out to him and likewise. And so, yeah, it was really, really sad. But he's one of the, I'm really blessed to be able to work with him. Yeah.
So next year we'll see Robin Shou again for Beverly Hills Ninja. Right here. Yeah, I'll come to you. Yeah, right here.
Robin, did you sustain any kind of injuries?
Oh yeah, Robin, did you hurt yourself
Oh
at all
yeah,
making this movie?
on the Reptile fight.
Yeah.
On the
With
Reptile
Keith?
fight
Did
with
Keith
Keith.
hurt your wrist?
No. There's a shot of me, like Keith threw me against a pillar, and I landed, and I didn't have any padding because I can do it. But then it was after the 10th take, I got really exhausted and I land on the edge of the pillar and I fractured 2 ribs. And then that was pretty much the beginning of the fight. So then I had to fight Keith. After that, I said, Keith, don't kick me too hard because I think I broke my ribs. So he held back. But that's the only thing. It was because stunt work is fun. Stunt work is really, really fun. I mean, again, my work, remember I said about when you're fighting in film, it's not about fighting, it's actually reacting. So I always feel that, if you're gonna play a hero, you should get beat up really bad and then fight back. So then I always believe that, and then Keith, he was so good. He's a really good kicker. Say, well, go ahead, Keith, just kick me, just go, just do it. And he did. So.
Yeah, dude, right there in the black.
I'm just curious, for all of you, how familiar were you with the source material before you landed your roles? And had you played the game, or did you play the game before portraying the character?
Did you guys play the game, and maybe also what your favorite character was from the game? You should play it all.
I didn't even know what it was, to be honest with you. I think when I heard about Mortal Kombat the first time, I had no idea. Somebody had to explain it to me that it was a video game, and I think once I got the job, then I played it at somebody's house, but I wasn't familiar. What about you?
I wasn't familiar with it either. But once you get the job, you research it really thoroughly, and then I learned all about the job. But prior to that, I had no knowledge. I like the title though.
Well, I was very aware of the game, but I'm not a video game guy, so. But
Had you seen the first movie? I'm not.
It was in it.
Were you at the premiere of the first movie?
yeah.
Oh wait, I'm an idiot.
Oh, wait a minute, he's in it.
I have to stop myself from that one.
You couldn't miss him, he's Reptile.
It's weird because you have an actual mask off in the second. I forget that. But yeah, so did you play the game at all? Or
No, I didn't.
okay. Yeah, right here.
This one for Sandra. I'm a huge fan of Nick Fury. I know your Marvel Comics movie before. What was your best experience and worst experience shooting that movie?
I'm guessing the mud fight's probably up there with the worst. but-
You mean Nick Fury now?
Yeah, Nick Fury. How was David Hasselhoff on set?
He was great. I got along famously with David Hasselhoff. I had worked with him once before. I did Baywatch Nights, and so we knew each other. And I didn't have a bad experience on that movie. It was just fun because it was such a deliciously evil character, and the costumes were so great. Had these crazy costumes and hair, and it was just fun. I think the only bad thing about the experience was that I had just broken up with my boyfriend, or actually, I think he broke up with me, and so the entire time when I was in Vancouver, I cried a lot when I was off set, but I had a blast when I was on set. Yeah. Of course.
Also, did you choreograph the animality fight in this movie, Robin?
No, seriously, I had no idea there was an animality, to be honest. Because, that time we didn't know what the CG was. All they said, Robin, you're gonna turn into a dragon. So, okay. And that was it. Okay.
All right, we have one last question right here on the right. I'll do Justin because he's in K Online, of course. Yeah, dude.
This is for Keith, but my favorite character is Kang, but the best rivalry, in my opinion, for Mortal Kombat is Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Was there like a second fight that you guys were gonna have in the film, or that was just never happened?
No, the way I understand it is Sub-Zero was supposed to show up in the ending, but I don't think there was a fight.
No.
There wasn't a fight.
And by the way, Keith, Sub-Zero, fought Scorpion. That was going to be an awesome fight because I knew J.J. Perry and Keith was going to go head to each other. And you have these two amazing martial artists. So then, when they were fighting in the tunnel, again, I was shooting some of the scene, so I couldn't be there. And it was kind of disappointing just to see, that's all they did. But then because they're both of them, like JJ kicks like you would not believe. Keith also, those two guys are one of the best kickers I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't mean to complain, but like the coverage and the under part of the bridge was just not good. It was very unsatisfying when I saw it, because I thought we did so much more, and then it didn't come out.
So yeah, also again, it's because we're short in time. That's again the intention was there. It's just that the scheduling, we just behind. It was they underestimated.
Was the fight supposed to be a little bit longer, or that's not what it's supposed to be?
Oh, every fight there's a beginning and a middle and an ending,
Yeah.
just like a regular scene. Every fight, and there's always an element of surprise, always.
So would you say that there is like movies like Fast and the Furious, Never Back Down, they have these extended cuts where a fight scene might be 60 seconds, but they extended it to 75. Would you say that their fight scenes were edited down from what you remember?
No, I think that's just the way they shot it.
Okay.
So then they didn't go through the choreography. They just kind of they were so pressed in time that they had to finish, like, a day or something. They have to wrap it up, so.
Oh, you have 6 months, they should have done it. Last question, Justin, who actually flew in from Chicago, he helps work with Mortal Kombat Online, which is a site that I blogged on and messaged board when I was a kid, so last question, buddy.
Hey, thank you. Kory, shout out to you for getting the copy of the script. That was amazing.
I've searched for it for since I was, for 20 years I've searched for the script.
And
the original script, yeah.
And my question is for everybody up here now, because there is another document that's been long rumored, a 96-page Mortal Kombat quote-unquote Bible used by Threshold Entertainment, created for this movie, and then used for subsequent projects like the TV shows and stuff, that was supposedly given to all the actors. Do you guys have a copy of this 96?
Keith just said he knows something about that, so I'm putting
Okay, Keith.
That was called sarcasm. I don't even know what that is, bro. I can tell you, I guess as my last question with everything, was the movie, the first movie ends on a cliffhanger. This movie picks up exactly where it lets off. And when some of you don't know, there is a secret ending that was filmed. Images have leaked from it. It's in the script that you'll get, where Shinnok goes to the Nether Realm and meets up with Quan Chi, and they have certain plans. I don't know what those plans are. Maybe we needed a hair salon. I don't know. But they have plans, and it goes into a third movie. So, what was the plans with the third movie? Who was involved? And I think we know why it fell through. But were you guys contracted to do a third movie, or?
I knew about a third movie. I mean, I didn't know how realistic it was. So I was there when they did the Shinnok scene, or is that Shinnok?
With Quan Chi.
Quan Chi, I'm sorry.
Quan Chi and Shinnok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there, and then I was a little confused. I mean.
So that was like new to you?
Yeah,
the fact that they were gonna just
yeah, exactly.
we're gonna go into it. I mean,
Right.
that just proves how ambitious they were.
Right,
They were already ready for a third.
Right.
Well, I gotta tell you guys, this is the first event where I didn't go up to take a breath and breathe and calm down from. I watched every frame of that movie. You guys saw that I put the chairs up here. The scripts, I printed everything by myself. I'm Kory, at MovieDude18, Kory Davis, Kory S. Davis on Facebook. This was my 40th event. It was my favorite event, and it's not over yet. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have these guys hang out right here. Where's Scott? All right, you see that guy right there? Okay, we're gonna set up the signing. You're gonna get in line. Although this guy right here, Shannon, get up. Loyal fan. Follow Scott. He's number 1. He got here first at 3 o'clock. So you guys can get up and follow them out, and we'll have it set up, and the team will orchestrate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you.